Yo, what's going on guys? Arekkz here. Welcome back to another video for Monster Hunter Rise, and today we're talking about Kushala, one of the latest additions to the game as of Update 2.0. A monster that many of you are no doubt farming for some of the fantastic gear pieces and weapons, so in this video I thought I'd put together a handy quick start guide to this monster, all the most important things you need to know as quickly as possible. So if you do enjoy this, then a like would be super appreciated, and if you'd like to see more of these for other monsters, let us know who we should cover next. Kushala Daora is an elder dragon first introduced in the second generation, Monster Hunter Freedom 2, and it is commonly referred to as the Steel Dragon, or more recently in Rise, the Shadow upon the Tempest. It is a monster that has always been notoriously difficult to approach, not only due to the hard metallic skin, but also for the strong wind barrier that surrounds it. That being said, it is important to note that in Monster Hunter Rise, the wind barrier, while effective, is in part more for show this time around. It will still push hunters back to a degree, but not as much as in previous games where at times the monster was almost impossible to approach. Regardless, it is still something that can be negated with poison. Poisoning a Kushala or breaking its head and its tail will weaken its wind, which in turn makes approaching it much more manageable. Kushala are most notable for their control over the wind. During combat, they are capable of sending out powerful, chilling, icy wind blasts at unsuspecting hunters, sending them flying into the sky, hurtling backwards, or sometimes directly back to camp. The wind attacks can come in many forms. Sometimes Kushala will project a condensed, icy beam from its mouth. This is a much more focused attack, but can cover decent distances. Other times, it will flap its wings to send huge tornadoes hurtling in your direction. Getting hit by this will launch you upwards, leaving you potentially vulnerable. Also, in Rise, it's important to note that tornadoes can come out in a variety of ways. Sometimes just 2 or 3, which are relatively easy to read. Other times, Kushala will send out a huge wall of up to 6 tornadoes. These will move towards you, requiring that you bullet hell style weave between them to avoid being hit. New in Monster Hunter Rise is a combo where Kushala will perform a wind breath attack, similar to that of Velkhana's from Monster Hunter World Iceborne, where it shoots this along the ground, and if you're hit by this, it will launch you upwards. Following this, Kushala will then attempt to snipe you out of the sky with a dark, powerful wind blast. The only way to avoid this is to wire fall to the side, but if you get hit, that might just be the end of you. It's also worth noting that in Rise, in addition to the ice and wind attacks, Kushala can also inflict Dragon Blight. It will dive towards you to perform a swiping claw attack, and getting hit by this will result in Dragon Blight being applied, which will strip the element from your weapon until you consume a Nullberry or it wears off. Kushala now also have a devastatingly powerful Teostra-style supernova of its own. At this point, it will float above the ground and begin channeling wind around it. During this, you will either want to attack Kushala to try and flinch it out of the move, or just get far enough away to avoid being blasted. This move hits hard, so it is something you ideally want to avoid. When fighting this monster, it's important to be aware of the various hit zones so that you can take it down effectively. Kushala has hard steel skin, so some areas are much less vulnerable than others. As a general rule of thumb, for Blade Masters, the front legs and the head are your best options for attack. Kushala stands quite tall, so the head won't always be viable, but these are the zones that you will deal most damage. And for the range users, it's much the same. You won't always see yellow damage numbers, but between the front legs and the head, you should be pretty good to go. Keep in mind for Kushala, the head, the wings, and the claws can be broken, and the tail can also be cut, and again, doing so will also lessen the wind pressure. If you're leaning into status, then Poison is an effective means to combat this monster, as is Blast, and on the element front, Kushala is weakest to Thunder, followed then by Dragon and Fire. So keep all of this in mind when battling this monster. But that, my friends, is all the most important stuff to keep in mind when fighting this monster. That is your quick start guide to Kushala Daora. I hope you found this helpful. Again, if you did and you want to see more of these, let us know down below and keep it locked for plenty more. If you want to catch more from us at Arekkz Gaming, don't forget you can catch the guys 269 and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch weekdays, playing a variety of games. If you guys want to jump in, tune in, watch, and even join in, then make sure you check them out. The links to those are in the description box down below, and of course you can join the Discord to get involved in all of the discussions.